Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show, Stigma Busting with CNS Healthcare's Empowerment Team. I'm your host, Cheryl LaFleur. On today's show, you will hear from team member Andrew Parrish, who has a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Andrew will talk about his life, what it's like, and what he sees for himself in the future.
Did you know? People with schizophrenia are not more violent or dangerous than people who don't have schizophrenia or don't have a mental health diagnosis. Research shows that people with schizophrenia are more likely to be a victim of crime than a perpetrator. Did you know many creative and smart people throughout history, such as Vincent van Gogh and John Forbes Nash Jr., whose life was made into the movie Beautiful Mind, have had schizophrenia? Scientists are even looking into links between genes that may be related to both psychosis and creativity. Did you know schizophrenia is not caused by bad parenting? Many factors, including environmental, psychological, and genetic, play a role. Also, intense stress or a major emotional event could trigger a psychotic episode in someone who is predisposed to it.
Thank you for sharing that, Malkiah. Now I'd like to introduce Andrew Parrish, where he's going to read a letter to his diagnosis.
Thank you, Cheryl. Letter to my diagnosis. Dear Schizophrenia, you've given me a sense of humor, patience, and more empathy. You've given me more insight into myself and more respect for other people's troubles. You have given me a new outlook on life. Because of you, I think more optimistically, I am more kind, and I look at things more reasonably. I believe I'm more wise and I think more logically. I'll take care of you, Schizophrenia, because I have to take care of me, but I won't put you first. I must come first. Sorry, Schizophrenia, I know you're here, but I hardly think about you anymore. Yours angrily, and hopefully that you'll go away someday, Andrew Parrish.
Thank you for sharing that, Andrew. Now I'd like to tell you a little more about Andrew. As a certified peer support specialist for CNS Healthcare, Andrew Parrish has been able to use his past challenges in a newfound and productive manner. Like many young people, Andrew started experimenting with marijuana in his teens. Despite having an adverse impact on his studies, Andrew was able to complete his high school education and go to college, attending Columbia College in Chicago, Illinois. There he studied cinema, art, and science. He also wrote, directed, and acted in several student films and appeared as an extra in major motion pictures. While in college, Andrew also began using other drugs and drinking alcohol, which caused blackouts and bouts of paranoia. These activities intensified his symptoms, which led to a diagnosis of schizophrenia in early adulthood. After a serious incident when his paranoia reached an all-time high, Andrew was forced to seek help with the community mental health system. He obtained treatment and learned to effectively manage his illness. Andrew has since found a new passion for using his understanding of recovery to help others. As a certified peer support specialist, he uses his past challenges, experience, and success to inspire others. So, Andrew, I would like to ask you some questions.
Okay.
First of all, where were you born, Andrew?
Chicago, Illinois. 3171 South Luella. March 26, 1979.
And tell me about your home life. What was that like?
Home life was good, you know. Two parents in the household. Dad made 6 figures. Mom made 5. High 5. Older brother, younger sister. Big house. Vacations to Jamaica, Barbados, Mexico, the Caribbean every summer. You know, I went to private school my whole life. Yeah, it's nice growing up.
Sounds real nice.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been a sister or something because, I mean, that sounds like some great stuff you did growing up.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. Jamaica was always fun. Yeah.
So, looking back, can you see where you started to show symptoms of your diagnosis of schizophrenia?
Yes. Around 2001, looking back, I started to have symptoms. I was still in school at the time, college, and I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. I was doing a lot of marijuana. I was doing a lot of drinking. My hair was a mess. I was thin as a rail. My parents and my friends understood that something was wrong, and they moved me back to Detroit from Chicago, where I was going to school, back to Detroit, and that's where my recovery journey started.
Sounds like you had a lot of support growing up.
Yes, my parents were very supportive. Friends were very supportive. I have a lot of friends now, back then, that were with me then, that are now going through their recovery journeys as
Right.
well. So we're all in the same boat now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what led you to ultimately seek help?
What let me seek help? I got violent with my father one time. Me and him got into a tussle, and I was arrested and taken to lockup. From there, I went to. I'm trying to think about it. From there, I was released, and I was getting paranoid again. I was taken to the hospital. I stayed in the hospital for 10 days. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. They gave me different medications to get that under control for the time being. I was released. I did outpatient for some time. And then I went to court. They said, all right, Mr. Parrish, are you taking your medication? I said, yes. Are you staying with these people? I said, yes. Are you seeing the therapist? I said, yes. He said, okay, just stay out of trouble. You can go. Not guilty. They let me go. From there, it was a battle of, getting the medications right, getting the right dosage, not only the right dosage, but the right cocktail. Because if I had one medication, something else would spring up. Like if I got my paranoia under control, sleeping would be a problem.
Right.
So they had to give me something for sleeping. And then, if my sleeping was under control and my paranoia was under control, during the day, my anxiety would go up. And that would cause a whole new set of problems. So I had to take a medication for that. But then, these medications that I'm taking for my psych meds, they cause a lot of physical ailments.
Right.
So it's like the biggest thing they cause is weight gain. So I gained a lot of weight. I ate a whole lot. And with that, cholesterol goes up, blood pressure goes up. I got diabetes now.
Wow.
It's a mess, but I'm trying to get it under control. I'm trying to get it all under control. I'm exercising now. I'm working out. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm eating less. I'm cooking for myself. I'm not eating fast food anymore. I'm drinking nothing but water, no tea, no coffee, nothing with sugar in it.
Right.
Yeah, so
And
I'm
that
trying.
caffeine can be a killer too sometimes.
Yeah, especially when you got a psychological disorder.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? I was told by my psych nurse that caffeine, it can induce a panic attack. And they've done tests on that. And it's true. It can induce a panic attack. So, my mother drinks 4 cups of coffee a day.
Well,
I couldn't do that.
Anxiety goes hand in hand with a lot of diagnoses, and that's, mine is anxiety and PTSD, but I am ultra sensitive to caffeine, and it doesn't really cause me a panic attack, but it gets me too revved up, and then I'm anxious about everything, so I know to avoid it. So I get it, you know, staying away from those things that can trigger you,
Right.
you know. And it sounds like you've had quite a recovery journey and you do a lot of things, but what else do you do to cope?
What else I do to cope? Um, I exercise. I take walks around my neighborhood. I walk my dog. I go on a 3-mile hike every morning. I wake up at the same time every morning. Try to go to sleep at the same time every morning. I say positive mantras to myself. I say, you can do this, or you got this, or something of that nature. I talk with my friends over the phone. I talk with my family. I talk to, people at work. I talk to people at school, and they all give me positive reinforcement. They stroke my ego a little bit sometimes.
That's great.
Which is what I need sometimes, and they see something in me that I don't see sometimes. Guys don't see most of the time. That I don't see hardly ever. They see something in me that I'm not able to see. That people always ask my parents,
Right.
how is Andrew? How is he doing? How he's doing so well? How is he able to do this? Because their image of somebody with schizophrenia is somebody out on the street talking to walls, or very disheveled looking. And I'm totally different from that. I'm clear-headed. I'm thinking straight. I'm focused. I'm back in school. I'm working a job. People don't see that,
Well,
And the news doesn't report that,
I'd like to tell you something. I work with Andrew Parrish, and I've watched him going through all this exercise and everything. And I have another question for you, Andrew. I have seen changes in your weight and all that. What else has it done to your body chemistry? What else is it doing for your health now that you're including more exercise and better eating habits?
Well, my blood pressure is better. Every 2 weeks, I have my blood pressure taken, I have my weight taken, and my blood oxygen level is taken. And every 2 weeks, ever since I started working out again and started eating right, everything's been getting back to normal. My levels of my liver are back to normal. I have liver disease, fatty liver disease, and it's been going back to normal. All the rest of my blood, I forgot what the workup is called. Anyway, my blood
Electrolytes?
levels. Not the electrolytes, but
Chemist, whatever they are.
Your blood test that they do at the hospital. Everything's in the normal range now.
How about that diabetes? How's that been?
The diabetes has been getting better. I've been taking my readings every, 2 or 3 minutes sometimes.
Right.
And it's been going lower and lower and lower until it's,
That's terrific.
very, very good. I'm very good place.
I think that gives a lot of hope to a lot of people because the medications can cause these side effects, but
correct.
It sounds like you can counteract them with the eating and exercise.
You got to be kind of, focused though, and kind of, aware, self-aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to know that you have an illness.
Right.
You have to be completely alert that you have an illness, and you have to be able to counteract that with, the positive things that you can do to, stop the illness in its tracks, so to speak.
So I'd like to ask you, what would you like people to know about schizophrenia?
Well, what do I like people to know? We're not mean people. We're not scary people. We're just people. Like I said before, people think of somebody with schizophrenia as someone disheveled, someone, not wearing clean clothes, dirty hair, living on the street, talking to buildings, talking to nobody in particular, walking past people, asking people for change. It's not like that. You know what I mean? 70% of people with schizophrenia get better. 70%. That's a passing grade.
That's a pretty high
You know,
statistic.
it's a pretty. The statistics. The statistics are 1/3 will get better with or without treatment. So that's 1/3 already that will get better.
Right.
1/3 will get better only with treatment. And then 1/3 will not get better with or without treatment.
Wow.
But, however, they are making strides in the medications. They're making strides in the therapies, and they're making strides on where schizophrenia is coming from, and how schizophrenia begins, and where it stems from, trauma, how it starts, and those numbers are improving. It's not.
Right.
Those numbers are improving. It's at 70% now, but it's going up.
Right.
But
That's good to know.
yeah.
So, I'd like to know what, and everyone else would like to know, what you do for fun. I mean, some real fun stuff.
What I do for fun? Going to a baseball game is real fun. Going to a football game is real fun. I saw Dave Chappelle at the Fillmore Theater. It was his special, The Closer, being taped there. I went, saw that. It was magnificent. I love that show. I seen Chris Rock 3 times at the Fox Theater. I've seen Janet Jackson a while ago. I seen, I do all types of stuff. I do go to a lot of concerts, comedy shows, pretty much. I take drives around the city, look at the city, look how the city's growing, improving.
Yeah.
Kind of like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just it's a metaphor. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the new buildings are going up. There's new hotels going up. There's the roads are getting better. The mayor is doing wonderful things. The crime is going down. The abandoned buildings are being torn down. The other abandoned buildings are being rehabbed and refurbished. It's a metaphor.
It sounds like
when you drive around the city, I just look at how good things are going.
Yeah, people are going to want to start not to come to Detroit to visit, but they're also going to want to visit you. All that improvement going on there, Andrew. So tell us, what are your immediate and short-term goals?
Immediate goals. First immediate goal, is I want to finish community college. I'm in Wayne County Community College right now, and I'm in a program to get my degree my associate's in science in mental health. That is my first immediate goal. My second immediate goal is to save up enough money for a down payment on a house.
Wow.
Those are my 2 immediate goals. Those are within reach. Those are like within the year.
Right.
I'm going to get those things done.
Those are some great goals.
Yeah. I can't help it. I gotta move forward. I gotta keep moving.
You're great, Andrew. You're just... Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I want to own my own home. I want to have my bachelor's or my master's or my doctorate in, psychology or social work or, something along those lines. I want to have a good, stable job. I want the whole shebang, wife, kids, dog, picket fence, the whole everything. You know what I mean? Just everything out there. I want to take vacations like my parents took me on vacations.
Yeah.
I want to take trips to, Ethiopia and Egypt and London and Paris and France and Germany and, I just want to keep going.
Makes me want to pack my bags and go with him. Tell you. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story with everyone and busting that stigma about schizophrenia. And I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our program and learned new information to help you stomp out stigma associated with schizophrenia. Tune in for another episode of Busting Stigma with CNS Healthcare's Empowerment Team.